Do it like this. I ain't hiding. Let me do it like this.
Greetings, world.
Yeah.
Welcome
Greeting.
to another MEN-talRollaDeK Live
Uh,
titled Do We Create Our Own Experiences?
do we create our own experiences? Okay. That's the topic
Bunch
for
of,
today.
bunch of, been having these things within me, man. So, like when you have them, you feel them, you just gotta put them and make them what they really are.
Right, right,
So,
right, right.
so how do you feel about that? How do you
Well, I
answer
mean,
that?
do we create our own experiences? And that's what you want to look at. And that's a good question. First of all, but to realize what what are we? Are we creators? Because we are. Other things we say and do, we manifest, and once you speak it, it comes into manifestation. So yes, uh, you can't, but at the same time, you can also regurgitate somebody else's experience when you run into their vibration, their frequency. That's the thing we can look at it always. So make sure it is yours instead of somebody else, that you are amplifying somebody else's experience through your medium actions or experiences. You know what I'm talking about? We find ourselves mimicking somebody else or whatever. So make sure it is your experience or your what you consider your reality. We had a nice show today, and a lot of things came out, but I think we find ourselves trying to m- manifest what people want us to be rather than what we was called to be. If that make any sense.
It makes a lot of sense. And when we start mimicking their reality, we changed the code within ours.
I
That's
say,
where the battle starts.
I
And
say, yeah, I say, yeah.
half the time we are unaware of the pain we're going through. Like you ever hear somebody say, "Oh, until you walk in my shoe, you never
Yeah,
know."
right.
But
And
when
that's an
you
old saying. Yeah,
but when you take on somebody else's reality,
yeah.
you are walking in their shoe.
And that's what we have going on today. People are always trying to tell you what you ought to be and what they consider to be successful and successful and perfect, and it might not be yours. You understand? But you're trying to uh, what I have manifest or bring to realization what you think is yours when it's somebody else's. The question is then, how do you know when it is yours and not somebody else's?
What's yours is effortless. What somebody else's is a struggle.
Ah, good comeback. Good comeback.
Your
Yeah,
your 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 potential should be effortless.
yeah.
We tend to, and I said this in the show I think yesterday. We tend to aim to conquer something that's not within our vicinity, right?
Uh huh.
Like you may be a carpenter. Yeah, I can learn carpentry, but within the same notion, it's going to take work, and you can just be what you say, like somebody that's on point. It just comes natural to you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for you. And somebody else is trying to mimic that. They're gonna have to put in the work, and they might not get it right away. That's the fight. That's the battle.
Right, right, right.
You can tell when something is not for you. Your intuition tells you.
If you only listen.
And that's the thing. What do we do, right? We fight against even that.
Yeah, even if we listen, yeah. You know,
you know
I know one while back we was talking about this years ago during the life of the Prophet Muhammad. He all the time said, if you want to find a hobby that you like and make that be your job. That way it'll be effortless, no problem or stresses trying to go do it. You wouldn't struggle with trying to do it if it's something you like. So enjoy it and then learn how to use it. Because that's what I did. I took on the concept of I like the freedom of driving a truck. So I did it for 56 years. When I first got into it, I loved it right off the bat. You know, I was invited to go check it out by another friend. I found out it was right on point, something I enjoyed doing. I don't like being housed up in a building or a plant or warehouse with 35 or 40 different bosses, everybody trying to tell you what to do. And see, when I came along, anybody white beater could tell you what to do. And you said, well, I was told, what did I tell you to do? You know, and all that kind of stuff. So I got tired of the tossing back and forth. So I became a driver, you know. And once I left the dock, and hell, all that, you know, put me back and forth about what I should and should not be doing. I had one objective: get that load from point A to point B, and I liked it. And for 56 years, what I've done, and made good money at it. Eventually, make it turn into a business, you know, that my own business, you know.
Yeah, that's always good. See, the thing is, we take we take what comes easy for granted because we don't identify with it being what it is. Okay, Baba, I heard you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man.
I
I
heard you.
apologize. Yeah, boy, I said just got through, and all of a sudden the time he decided to come up. I should have muted, but anyway, now, yeah, I wow,
It don't
I,
get more organic than that.
yeah, yeah, that's it, man.
But see, the thing with me is, right? I'm inquisitive.
Uh-huh. That's
Um,
good. That's good.
I don't look at things the way everybody else look at it, right?
Uh,
Um, so when I say, do we create our own experiences? What form of experience am I speaking on? You know, like what is experience?
uh,
You know, is it an action? Is experience the right now? Is it what you're living at this moment? Right?
mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it, right, I can say something today and that thing that I stated may not happen till next week, you know. And this is why I started looking at things differently because me and my brother used to be on the phone, right? And we talk about the driving in Georgia a lot, you know. And sometimes we're in our cars, we're cursing out the people because we're like, oh, they can't drive or they break up too much and so on and so forth.
They
You know,
cut in front of them.
or they speed up on you and so on and so forth, right? So, you know, he hear me like, wow, like lady, come on, you know, whatever. He's like, bro, somebody about to hit you. And I'm like, yo, if they hit me, they better total the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was said 3 months before I got into an accident,
Mm.
right? I was on my way into work and someone hit me in the back. I left. I spun out. Matter of fact, let me break it down a little bit more. Um, I was in the fast lane. I got hit in the fast lane, spun out, and end up in a ditch, right? And when I say the traffic was bumper to bumper, the traffic was bumper to bumper, right? But guess what happened when I spun out? It's like there were no cars there.
Yeah, everything opened up when you start spinning out, like everything around you just dissipated. You know, you had room.
Disappear. Yes, yes, like 100%. You know, and when I came to a stop, I never came out of the vehicle until the cop got there, right? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know. I didn't even know the back of my car was so badly torn up. It got hit to the point where the gas tank was folded.
Wow.
Right now, normally, if something like that happened, a car should explode. Right?
No, I'm about to say that normally, yeah, the impact would explode.
Okay, that never happened, King.
Mm.
Right? When the cop got there, at first I couldn't move. Like I felt the rippling pain running from my neck down to my back. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this to say 2 months ago, I was saying to my brother, if they hit me, they better total my car. The car was total, brand new vehicle,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And with all of this, listening to Bobby Hemmett panic and start analyzing certain things, I start to realize even when my mouth is not open, I'm conjuring and changing reality around me. You know, like being on a job, like, oh, I don't like it here, and so on and so forth. And then eventually you're no longer there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we rush the process and we leave ourselves, or started experimenting with the rain. Like, I'm out here working, can you stop rain when I go back in the house? And I'll get off the job and go in the house and it'll start raining, right?
Right.
Or saying, you know what, can you remove the people that's not valid in my life out of my life, right? And then you may not get a phone call like for 5 or 6 months, and you solely arguments between you and other individuals started happening for no reason, and they're removed, right? So
You get what you ask for, what you create.
through, through these experiences, I started to realize that the mind is very powerful, and
Very powerful.
what you see within it comes forth. And I'm a walking embodiment of that. So this led me, Baba is on a roll today, boy.
Yeah.
This led me, my ears is clean. So this
Wow.
this led me to realize the uniqueness of not only our mind, but how we create our own reality, and why I dissect certain things when it's asked, and why I have issues with people trying to spoon feed me what they call their reality. There's a saying in Jamaica that if, I'm just gonna say this, like if a man or a horse can't reach the grapes, he's gonna say it's sour. Can't have it. So he start creating all these false notion about it. Then I started looking at people like, hey, not only is everyone hurt, but they're doing it to themselves unconsciously, not knowing they're controlling it. With the repetitive, why is this always happening to me? Why this? Why that? All I got is bills. I'm broke. I'm this. I'm that. And fam, change the trajectory of what you're thinking about and take your freedom back. You know?
That's powerful. I was just listening to your summary of how, and that is true. There's an old saying: "As a man thinketh, so is he." So as a man thinketh, so he creates his own reality or uh, his world, because it's the world you're creating as you think. So now how you operate within your world.
And that's the thing. What we need to understand. We're God's having a human experience, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And
And that
that
was that we were saying today in the class, talking about how man came from heaven, came up to the world, but but we are celestial beings on in a terrestrial world, and having a terrestrial experience, like you said. And a lot of people don't realize that they are we say we're so above, so below. Well, You know,
And it's true. And something you also touched in the class as well is that the force field. Everybody has a force field around them. It's just that we can't see it with these eyes. When you just use that terminology, so above, so below, right? So we aim to fight things, right? But in actuality, the only thing we're fighting is ourselves. Goes back to what you think it, you become. Out of the darkness, right? Let there be light. The mind is pure darkness, right? And we tend to give other people our glory for things that we're manifesting ourselves. And then every single minute, like we're in within fear. So because of these fears, we don't realize what's actually happening. We play the victim mentality and continuously blaming on somebody else versus taking accountability for our actions. Like I was listening to Rich today, and he was mentioning the different types of foods and how they condition us. I asked him a question, but I don't think he had an opportunity to actually look at it. Food don't ever wake up and say, "Hey, heat me, put me in your mouth." You do that, and when we do these things or something happens to us, we blame it on somebody else. And we also create our reality through thinking and touching as well. What's your thought on that, King?
I was listening. And you explained. You're correct. Now, with that being said, how do we amplify that so people can really understand when we are that as individuals, we oftentimes create our own experience and realities, and that was on point. I like that.
How do we teach people?
You let them know, rather than people coming in, well, trying to tell you that this is right and that's wrong. Let them accept you as you are.
Hmm.
And that's happened a lot of time in relationship. We're so busy trying to make a person be what we want them to be, rather than let them be themselves, and so we can bring the two halves together to make a good whole.
We're aiming to create another us. We're
Yeah,
aiming to create our reflection, right? And what we're not seeing is we would not like that person to be us. It would get annoying. We would really hate that. Picture yourself walking around like, yo, you's a fat ass. Like, don't eat that. Like, you're making yourself sick. And they don't shut up. And everything you think, they think it too. You'll be annoyed, you know?
I say.
The question is why people should realize they create their own reality. Because we're aware it's etched into our DNA. We know. We
But
know.
many of us are not aware of this thing that's going on within ourselves. We all the time will say it, but subconsciously, we do not accept it or overstand it, and so we find ourselves questioning this thing that we're talking about now. But it's good sometimes to question and make sure that it is yours and that you're not doing something that's been astro projected into your onto your screen or into your computer. You got a virus I use the word virus. Like you get in your computer sometimes you get a virus or somebody got, and then you think your computer, and actually just it's not really you, it's somebody using your computer to project another image. So we have to be careful who we let in our world and our lives. You know what I'm saying?
But the point you also made within the class today, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't control those energy. You know, there's things out there we don't control, and
Right.
sometimes they can sense that your force field is weak, and it's easy for them to come within, whether in the shape of a so-called acquaintance, friend, a family member, just to leech off your energy.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. They're vampires, leeches, sucking the life out of you.
Because have you ever noticed sometimes when you go outside, you don't have to speak and somebody else to acknowledge you, and somebody standing beside you, like, oh, you know that person? You be like, no, but they're on your frequency and
Mm-hmm.
they're vibing with you. And then you can see the ones that means you no good, because as soon as they walk past you and you're looking at them, you don't know why you're looking at them, but they're looking away.
Yeah. I've experienced that, and I've been in places where people, I thought people knew me, they didn't even know me.
But that's every day, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that every day when you wake up? Because how can the sick cure somebody that's sick?
Uh-uh.
How can the weak carry somebody else up a mountain when they're weak, right? And there's a lot of sickness going around,
A lot of it.
you know. And there's a false analogy, like when most people say I know you, and
No,
I go ahead.
I was going to respond and say, I know you. No, you don't know. You only know of me. You do not know me. And I
Okay.
tell people, no, you don't. No, you don't know. You know of me. You do not know me. You know.
And what do? They draw references
Hmm.
from
Something they saw me do,
themselves.
or something they saw me do that might look like something they might have done. No, you mean you and I are the same? No, we ain't the same. You know. You
But
that
look,
boy, uh, I had what you call a sandwich that they had onions and stuff in it, and I'm telling you, they're kicking. They're kicking. It came right in the middle of my word, then it comes up.
oh man, oh, your own breath is attacking you.
Yeah. So I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, what's going on? So where's Richard today? I don't see him on the line. Is he tied up?
Who? Rich?
Yeah.
Rich is building, man. He's an architect, so he's working on his self at the moment. He's working on his platform and so on and so forth. He's expanding, so sometimes you need separation in order to
That is
build
so
your empire. So
That's it.
you
It's so
know,
yeah,
love and prosperity to the king, my OG.
yeah,
Um, you know,
yeah.
but
Definitely. I just wish him being on with those powerful comments that he make from time to time, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah. But anyway, but it's just so much going on that need to be put on the out there on things. So and this year is a critical year. So much stuff is coming out into the medium now and amongst the people out into what we call society today that we run into that also has an effect on our experiences too. People, well, man, how you feel about this? What you mean, how I feel? I don't feel no way about that. What you mean? I'm just detached. I'm not caught up in that, in all that hoopla and in the hype. You know, and I had to, and
um,
I had to pull back, man. I was, but for the past 8 or 9, 10 years, I was heavily involved in a lot of local political things where I am, you know, and it was draining. It was draining. And so my God, I said, you got to pull back. You got to let this stuff go because these Negroes is not going to change.
But look, and it goes back to our own experiences, right? And reality. The change. Look, how can something eternal change when you're fighting for that change in an external plane? If you want something to change, you first have to change it within you to actually see it manifest on the external. You can't change something outside and put it within you. That's what it is. So
Big
so
job.
when when I do my rituals or affirmations, I'm creating the reality of changing certain things around me.
By changing the vibrations.
Exactly. If
Yeah.
if you're supposed to latch on to every single thing you come across in every single body,
You will burn yourself down.
not only that, but you're taking away from you.
Yeah.
You're removing your purpose.
Mm.
Things happen for a reason. You can't go outside and stand in between the gazelle and the lion and say, "Oh, this is wrong. Don't eat the gazelle."
You get ate yourself.
Exactly. He's
Yeah.
prepping for his covenant, which is his family,
Mm.
right?
Right.
So men create this falsehood of right and wrong. No, what is right and wrong to you? You create that. I say there is no right and wrong because there's no right and wrong within the universe, right? It's
Now,
just a flowing.
and then it is your assumption of opinion about what's right and what's wrong, right?
Absolutely, because the trees is doing what the tree does, right?
Right.
It's blooming, it's giving you air to breathe, right? But the tree is also like an iceberg. What you see is not what it really is. The roots are branches as well. And in order for that tree to expand, it has to take root within the earth and then expand. The only difference is there's no leaves on the other side of the tree.
Mm.
So above, so below, right?
Yeah.
So when winter comes and the leaves fall off, it looks just like how it is under the earth.
True. Yes. Yes.
That's how I look at things, and that's how I look at people.
Okay.
When they ask certain question, I don't see the question one way. They want you to answer the question how they want you to answer the question. And when you do not answer the question the way you know what I mean, the way they want it, it becomes an issue. Well, you didn't have to say
Ah.
it like that. You didn't have to, you don't have no feelings. Put yourself in my shoe, and I'm standing looking at them like, yo, fam, your shoes is not my size.
We got a lot of old cliches, man, that we say, and we don't realize what's being said or manifest from those cliches. You know, because I mean, if we're not wearing the same size shoe, and if we are, who say that shoe is supposed to fit me because you may be a nine narrow, mine might be a nine wide. You know, so it's gonna be some room there somewhere. Either gonna be too tight or too loose. You know.
And that's what we don't realize. That's what we don't realize as people. And
But
we bring these same things in our relationships.
my point exact. I was gonna bring that my point, and that's where the problem come in. If we would spend more time not trying to recreate ourselves and somebody else, but let there be a harmonious union of the two coming together, I think we could find a better balance in relationships.
It's not even just that. We'll find a better balance in life.
Right. But you know, all these hidden agendas, that's one thing I didn't bring out today in the class. We were going through these things and you wonder, well, why am I that? Because we got all these hidden agendas. We don't let the real us come forward. And for reasons of protection or fear, being exploited or manipulated. But at the same time, you find yourself doing some of the same things to others that you didn't want done to yourself.
You remember a while back, I've actually said we are walking hypocrites, and the reason why we're walking hypocrites is right. And Rich is on the show, and I was saying to you, I made the story about the gun, like Rich look at you like you're a violent brother because you have guns, right?
Mm.
But somebody was kicking Rich ass, and because he needs guns now, he come to you
Yeah.
at the convenience that he needs it. So we approve things when it benefit us. And if you watch people long enough, right, even the ones that say they love you, do they really love you, or they love the energy you bring forth to them? Or do they really love you, or they love what you give to them? Because people don't move unless you give them something, whether it's your time, whether it's your ear, whether it's your shoulder to lean on, whether it's your car, to drop them somewhere. Everybody takes something.
Wow.
So we need to go deeper. We need to get off the surface,
Yeah.
because the surface have a lot of superficial individual. Like I've heard people say, I'm lonely. Okay. What do you mean by you're lonely? There's not enough people on the earth, or you need someone within your four walls.
Right. Within your surrounding.
Yeah. How can you be lonely but you got 600 numbers in your phone?
Mm. Yeah.
When I hear people like that speak, I know what it is. Your conscience is kicking your ass. You're really a shitty ass person. You're really a shitty ass person. And when you're in the four walls, it's like a 24-hour bout, And the reason why they say they're lonely is because they don't like looking at themselves.
Wow. That's something to think about. I can add that
It
to
go
my lexicon of information.
it
Yeah.
goes deeper.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
It goes deeper, King. How
Okay.
can you be lonely when there's 3.7 trillion cells within you, and all of them is a memory bank from your ancestors,
Yeah.
and they do what they need to do? And why do you say me instead of us or
You
we?
know. I used to get jumped on about that very thing right there. I would always say, "Look, we're going to town." And people say, "What you mean? Everybody going?" But you I said, "I'm never alone," and they could never understand. Even my guys and I would say, "Baby," I said, "We're going to town. Who going with you? Just me, myself, and I." Okay.
But look, it gets
But
deeper,
you're
Baba,
never
because
alone. You're really never alone, though. It's like trying to
some
go. It's like, how can you go somewhere and leave your thought
your shadow.
or your shadow? You know.
See, I feel like the more we look at things, the more we really understand what it is to be free. And when we accept certain things and stop fighting against it, we will gain true freedom. Because this being a slave is within you, right? I
Ah,
have never experienced a cotton field. So
you
why
have
should I use no? I'm not talking about the corporation. The way they describe slavery,
right.
not saying it did not happen,
No, no, no.
right? But
No, no,
but I've never experienced it. So if I've never experienced it, right? How do I truly know what it is? Because a book told me so.
right.
And we have a whole bunch of so-called black folks running around still stuck on slavery. And Bob Marley said it best: until we remove the mental shackles, we will never be free.
And that's the problem. As a matter of fact, a real good associate of mine, Dr. Naim Akbar, wrote a book many years ago called "The Removal of Change of Psychological Slavery," changing the image of psychological slavery, and that's where we a lot even to this day. To this day, we still have the same problem. Why? Because we keep talking about it and we keep regurgitating it, and then regurgitating, we have to remanifest or recreate that experience in our mind. Uh, I was talking to one guy one time where, like in Virginia, in that area, it was big on the thing was tobacco. Up here where I'm from, cotton was big or corn or whatever. But you can't compare cotton to tobacco because the work is different. But my experiences as a child coming up, I used to like going to the field pulling cotton because that's where I made my money at, my little hustle money, my spending change, right? And man, you
Mm-hmm.
want to go, man, I'm going to, and plus, believe it or not, sometimes we had freedom out there that we didn't have in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'd go to the field, man. I knew that day we went to the field. Mom's gonna break out. It's gonna break out the pot, the pork and beans and the bologna and the cinnamon rolls and the flank, you know. And I'm gonna have a
Oh
time down there to play.
man.
Meet the
I wish Rich could hear you.
yeah,
Like bologna, what? Pork chops. Hey, Baba, I can hear Rich right now. I need to put you on my 90-day cleanse, buddy.
yeah, we would go out there, man, and break out the paper sack. That would be our plate. You know, we ate with our hands, or mom might bring some homemade fried chicken. And what I understand, man, and like they cook with lard and Crisco back then. Now we got, and you can eat chicken cold. Now you got chicken, you can't eat that shit cold. It'll give you indigestion. I don't understand it.
Hey, I'm gonna send you Rich's number, man. You can talk to him all day about that. You can talk to him all day about that. He got the right substance for you. Um, because have you ever read this book called The Richest Man in Babylon?
I've heard of it. I never read it.
It's a very powerful book. He breaks down certain steps. He called them the seven cures and so on and so forth, right?
Rich man in
And
Babylon. Okay.
yeah, and before he became the richest man in Babylon, he took his jewelry to a smart. I might be messing it up because it's been such a long time since I read it. He took his jewelry to a swordsmith,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And that was a bad investment because what does a swordsmith know about jewelry, right?
Because he's
Then
some melting iron, melting things down, and
yeah, but it's not the same. So
right,
one of his elders told him you have to take it to a jewelry maker. And
right.
when he did that, he started analyzing certain things. He did that, he started seeing his return.
Okay.
And that's a very valuable lesson and it speaks today, right? A lot of us got certain issues that we're bringing to the wrong people.
That's gonna be good for next week on a class because we're dealing with issues in the planetary system, and we can bring some of that out because you're definitely right. Because all issues ain't the same, and if you address it as if it was a one size fit all, as and then you wind up with no problem because that issue may not be the same as what another issue is, depending on what you're going through.
Okay, look at it like this.
Okay.
You have an illness a doctor never seen before.
Ah.
Because he's in the hospital, he's used to giving you band-aids for surface level illnesses, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to the herbalist is speaking to your mind, body, and soul. So the herbalist knows what to do. And in life, people, we believe that are like us because we say they're like us because we just create those things in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
Like because they showed us one imperfection, and that imperfection may resonate with us, right?
Uh-huh.
So we latch on to that one imperfection and say, "Oh, you're just like me." And then within under 2 minutes, that person might be a smoker. You don't smoke, so how's that person just like you?
No, they're not.
So we need to take time and step back and experiment with what's true, seeing how we conjure our own reality every single day. Because you even touch based on when you wake up, the first thought you have when you wake up determines how your day is going to go.
And I was
If you wake,
I was mentioning that today in the class about the first thing when we first raise our head up off the pillow. What's the first thought come to mind?
my
That's
cell phone.
yep. That done and needed to outline your day. That first when you wake up, the first utterance and the first thought generally
Oh, man.
sets your parameter for your day's journey. You know, and but
I,
that's true.
I got 700 emails, and my car note is due, and the CNN app popped up. Seven people just got shot.
Yeah, all that.
Think that energy is stressful. So
Yeah,
what's your day is going? Your day is going to be what?
loaded,
Stressful,
stressful.
because you've attached yourself to an entity that doesn't belong within your circumference.
You know what? And you know what I'm gonna start doing at a certain time. I'm gonna start cutting my phone off at night because sometimes I'm getting pings all through the night. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
something happening, ping, ping, and you can hear it. Wonder what is that?
Mm-hmm.
But I found some friends of mine that said at a certain time they go to bed, they cut their phone off. Whatever happened, when I wake and cut it back on, then I'll know. Until then, this is my time out. Family
Um,
members, whatever. Hey, look, if I'm not a doctor or a mortician, I catch it when I wake up.
but look, there's many ways you got to look at this too. Like one of the funniest things I've seen from Steve Harvey. He said he has family members, right?
Uh-huh.
That when they want something, that's the only time you heard from them. So he said, well, you know what I do? I give them 2 weeks. The crowd is like, oh. He's like, no, what you mean, like, no, I give him 2 weeks. He's like, you know why? In 2 weeks when I call back, that situation that they had when they had it has already been taken care of. It's the truth. And then you got to look at it. The reality we're creating comes from everything else. Like, even when we go outside, we never take time to actually look at the beauty of a tree. We drive past them all the time. And sometimes we even throw trash on the side of the road, right? Not realizing the same energy that tree is emitting is the same energy you're emitting as well, right? When we go to a restaurant, instead of enjoying the moments, we have our phone on the table. Every time it pings, it goes off. But you're with someone.
My God, used to get on me all the time about that. I used to do a radio show and live radio at the station. We would go live from the studio, and sometimes I would have guests coming back, and I would be on my phone talking to somebody else. She said, you need to hang your phone up and communicate with those in the car because it's very disrespectful. Matter of fact, but it's so and she was telling me about that. But a lot of time when the cats in the car with me with these cell phones, hell, they on the cell phone talking to somebody or even texting.
Because we have been programmed
There you go.
to feel as if we cannot do without it, because the energy or the dopamine that it sends off, it makes us feel good. You get what I'm
Oh, yeah, I
saying?
said that. You know, one of the guys in Silicon Valley that when they first brought the cell phone out and put on the market, he said how many hours they spend on making that phone whereby as if you can't live without it. You can't, but to set it down and misplace it, you almost done to lose your mind. You're so attached to it. So now,
But you're programming yourself.
how do we detach ourselves from that programming? Because we're talking about a
Simple.
frequency. There's a frequency and a wavelength that it operates on that it is now. It has plugged into our psychic to the point whereby we really depends on it. You know, one time back in the day before we had cell phone, I could have at least 35 or 40 different phone numbers in my head. People I knew I could call, I could think of their number, right? I can't think of my own phone number sometime now. With them had a whole phone book in our head. Well, this is grandma's number, cousin's number, this so number, this is the lawyer number, the fire department, doctor number, all this had it in your head. And you could call that number off, you know. And but now you got to go to your cell phone and check your phone to see if they're in your contacts.
But
I'm like,
look,
damn.
look, look, this is something we need to realize. At any given moment, you want to change something about your present moment, you can by the snap of your finger.
Okay.
Cell phone, you go out to dinner, leave it in the car. Yes, have the queen keep hers, put it on silent, just in case of emergency. If something happens to the car, you have something, or something happens within the store, you have a means to get out, a way to reach the world. Leave it in your bag, right? Not on the table. You put something on the table when you're supposed to be enjoying the company of somebody else's energy. It's very disrespectful.
Yep.
Right? So leave one in the car and keep one for emergency. Right? And speak on this with your mate. Like, yo, listen, we need to start enjoying things again. If you go outside, you see a tree, stop, analyze the tree. There's so much going on around us, right? You see the ants, moving something bigger than themselves. You hear the crickets chirping. You hear the birds. Like, as of lately, I've been seeing birds I've never seen before.
Right, they are. Yeah.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have to be in tune with nature to realize these things and enjoy them. Who would have thought me hugging a tree would be so blissful?
You know, there's a thing they call it's healing in the tree. And what the tree does, certain trees actually draws the negative energy away from you and revitalizes you. You know that, right?
That's what was happening to me. I felt my energy.
Yeah.
I felt my energy.
Especially the sycamore tree. It's known for its healing and neutralizing bad energy.
They got sycamore trees up here. I thought they only have those in Jamaica.
No, sir. They got sycamore all over this place. Especially where there's water and moisture. If you ain't careful, you walk right by and wouldn't know it. But it has a place. In Louisiana, we got a lot of oak trees. Oak is strong, magnolia. Very carries certain energies and frequencies that if you tap into it, you'll be surprised how it will alter some things within your own vibration.
But that tree is you. The same energy that comes from the universe, you have it within your body. That's why it's actually good to go outside and step on the earth to connect back to the earth.
We used to go out and put our feet in the earth, take your shoes off, and rub your feet on the ground to get a good contact. And do that. I used to go out to the park, take my shoes off, and sit there to meditate. You know, the breeze coming through and sit there and meditate. A lot of things I used to do, I didn't. Don't get back to doing because I'm talking to you now. My mind is bringing back a lot of things that I used to do to stay grounded, to stay focused, to stay balanced, right? And my wife, my wife, she's known for knowing various flowers, and she would ask me, that's a so and so tree, and that's this and that's that, and she sees the beauty and all of these plants. That's a crepe myrtle. This is a so and so. That's a magnolia. You know, what tree is that, baby? I'm going like, I'm no florist. Shit, I don't know what that is. And but you need to know because every tree has a purpose on the earth, and it serves a purpose. You said something a while ago that was very 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 eye opening. You go to a physician, to a doctor who practices medicine. His job is to pacify the symptoms. But you go to a healer, an herbalist, they deal with the cause. Does that make any sense?
It makes too much sense because listen, sometimes they're only just healing one part of you. King, you have a mind, body, and soul. You, in order to heal somebody, you have to heal all three parts.
Yeah, all the parts.
In in Africa, that's what they used to use the seesaw for. The seesaw was a healing tool that they turned into a child's game, the same as a 52 deck of cards,
Okay.
right? They turn
Right.
into a child's game. Everything that is powerful to most, they turn it into a game. You know, and that's why I say we have to get back into analyzing what is right and what is pure and what resonates with us because we're flowing with the same energies as everything around us, not everything in society. Everything in society mimics your anatomy, not your anatomy mimicking it. A car, an engine, the heart, your legs, the wheels, and so on and so on. We just need to stop looking at things on a surface level because when we keep it surface, we're missing the entirety of what it really is.
So true.
And we lie to ourselves when we see certain things because we describe them through seeing. But when you touch it, it feels different.
Yeah.
How do you know something is hard versus soft? You have to put your skin on it. You have to make contact with
Make
it.
contact with it. Yeah.
And through true making contact, your DNA resonate with it. You get energy from it. Like we act like we're bigger than the rock when the rock has the same energy we have. It came from nature.
Mm.
So we need to get off the surface. We're on the surface,
That's the hard
but
part.
beneath us is a lot more to uproot. It's not hard, King. It's not hard at all. You keep saying that. Guess what's gonna happen? Because you're creating your own experience. It's gonna
It's gonna be
stay hard,
be hard. Yeah, you're right. That's right.
you know? And the reason why things seem hard is because we never got introduced to it or we don't do it enough. Hear people like, yo, I hate that. Oh, how many times have you done it? Oh, once. How can you hate something when you haven't conquered it? You only did it once. You're losing you're losing a part of you because you're not going deeper. So subconsciously you're creating things that's coming back to you because you're not going deeper.
True that.
I'm sitting here and I'm guilty as shit. Like, yo, I want to be healthy, right?
Uh,
And the only way for me to be healthy is to remove what is not healthy. You know, but I can sit here and be like, oh, it's hard. Man, it's right in my face. You know, but nobody has a gun to my head like, yo, pick that cheeseburger up, eat it right now. And when you eat it, drink something cold. And when you drink something cold, it's clogging up your heart and you're draining your energy. Go to sleep. I'm doing that. And we think it's okay because we're not seeing the results right away. You
right.
know, I may have did it in my 20s, but as soon as 30 hits, oh man, I feel weird. You're getting sick out of nowhere. You know, these things are happening. Like Richard Pryor, the first thing ever Rich said when he had a heart attack, right? He
Mm-hmm.
tried to call on God, and his heart here, his heart here. He's like, "What are you trying to call on God? You wasn't calling on God when you was eating all this pork." You know, he made fun out of his endeavors. You know, we got to stop looking at things the way we look at things. We look at things and attach ourselves to these things, and we become these things because we are creating them in
Right.
the way where it's like entities, Baba. It's
There are
like
entities. There are entities. Everything has a spirit that goes with it, and it does attach. I told you all the time, there are entities. Everything that moves, it exists. It has a spirit to it, and it attaches. You know, I told people, well, I don't care what it is, if even the thought of it, it's trying to home in or lock in, or it's looking for a path to find a host, you know, that it can live through or live in.
and
And
the frailer your mind is,
yes,
the more
that's
bright eye, whatever entity that
one of the
is.
hardest things I find to do is to train the mind. And they really don't need no training, but it does need guidance.
Hey, there's nothing within this reality more powerful than your mind.
That's right.
And when you read your Bible, it says it. Let us let us create men in our own image. Like everything starts with the mind. You
Of
know,
course.
out of darkness came light. That's within the mind.
Right. All that. It was funny today about how that in the storyline about the pelvis being removed from the forehead and put between the woman's legs, you know, and then you look at what that pelvis is capable of doing. And I laughed. I said, man, you know, I never thought about it like that. But when a child comes to the world, it actually opens up for the child to come out. I'm going like, damn.
But that's all you see, Baba. What else? What else is there, King? Look at it. What
It's
else
more.
is there?
It's a lot of other things there.
The organ is shifted around.
Yeah.
Her all everything within her stomach is pushed up
Hmm.
to make space for that child,
That's right.
right?
And I watched the doctor when my little boy was being born. She had to have a C-section. He reached in, not in the stomach, but he had reached in behind the stomach and bring him out. I mean, I watched him lay the stomach and everything on top and reach in there, bring the baby up, and unwind the umbilical cord around because he had got it around his neck. He was kept trying to come, but every same time he would choke him, right? And this cat was
Mm-hmm.
determined to come, so he would go back up. He would bag back up to get that relief. And so the doctor, when we found out what it was, he did a C-section, reached in behind the stomach, let the stomach up, picked the baby up, and unwound the umbilical cord, and then we cut it. I told him, no, no, I ain't cut it, you cut it, and he
Well,
cut it, and then tied it off, you know. But I'm sitting there
well, look
watching
at
the whole
this.
process, you know.
Well, look at this, King. They make that hard. They make that process hard as well because you're fighting against gravity,
Right?
right?
Yep.
And
Squatting.
it shows them. The woman tells them, and they know because they tell the woman this because I've seen it done with my wife, like when she was having my son. They say if you feel like you want to pass your bowels, that means the child is coming. When you really, if you pay attention, if you go in the bathroom, right,
Uh-huh.
take a yish, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you know if you get something at least 4 or 5 inches off the ground and put your leg on it, it makes the process a lot smoother. It
Yeah,
just comes
right.
right out.
Yeah, right.
The
Yeah.
same way, if a woman goes into a squatting position within water, she may not have to push. That baby comes right out.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they put you on a hospital bed and
Probably
have you
all of
pushing against gravity?
it. Yeah. Good question.
Why is it society have us fighting our spirituality?
That's another good topic right there.
with all the noise in the world, but yet meditation is sitting still. Your body is at peace when you're sitting still. You may not even have to meditate. You can be outside on a chair feeling the warmth of the breeze and the warmth of the sun, and you hear the birds chirping. It puts you in a tranquil place. But you will never be in peace if 6 cars keep driving by, revving. That's the difference. And that's the chaos we live amongst, and that's the chaos we live in. They keep us attached to these things when we can cut them off. They put things in front of us, and we call it, oh, this is food. Oh, this is good for you. And half they tell you is good for you is not good for you. But we gravitate to those. It's kind of like I heard Rich. Rich was speaking today, right? And he was talking about the conditions of food, which is right. If you eat correctly, your mind frame change. Dr. Sebi said it.
Yeah.
A person that eats off the earth automatically within their frame of thought is just love. You can do them whatever you want to do them. They will always love you because they're exuding love. But the more blood we consume, the crazier we get.
Yeah, because the nature of the animals in the blood.
Yeah.
And that's
so,
and that's why when I was among the Hebrew Israelites, one of the things that we studied was the Levitical law of blood and not eat anything with blood. And as a matter of fact, you were never designed to eat anything that had blood, because blood was the lifeline of the animal that you would eat. And the matter of fact, the character of the animal a lot of times travels through his blood, and you take it on, And that's one thing that I liked about being a part of that group, part of that madness, was the fact they did have a strong dietary system that they used. But then I found a lot of that had other crazy things was messed up just as bad, was worse than the diet.
I don't like the way they talk. They talk about the female, man.
That's my point exactly. And when I came out against it, those brothers, because it made them feel inferior to the woman instead of, they talk about lifting her up, but they was always stated putting her down based on that Eurocentric mindset, and that's why I broke away from a lot of that. And matter of fact, I'm having a problem even now with some of the so-called brothers that so-called in the Ifa. Some of that same stuff is already intertwined in the so-called African religion or spirituality or science. And that's one of the things that I'm fighting right now with some of the so-called Babalawos and priests. And some of my biggest fight is not so much with the brothers, it is with the sisters. They don't accept that the fact that they've been misinformed and programmed to hate themselves.
But that's the thing, because the biggest hate come from our reflection, King. That's what we're experiencing.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
That's our experience. So if I can't stand within the mirror because I have a decoding in my system from my parent that told me I wasn't shit, I'm not going to be shit, and I create these entities called no shit entities that's attached to me. So no shit entities keep gravitating or bringing forth no shit things towards me. My life is full of shit. Right? So until you change your mind, you will keep attracting no shit situations. And if y'all don't believe me, do it for a week. Keep saying, yo, all these damn bills. And guess what's going to happen? All you're going to see is damn bills in your mailbox, one after the other. Something might happen to your car. You might have to fix it. Your cable company will mess your bill up. You might have to fix that. Like, what you think about even when your mouth is not open is what you draw towards you, because you're creating your own reality. Period. Females is fighting dudes. Dudes is fighting females. But they're speaking on the same thing in just a different way. You're calling the man shit, but in a other breath, like, oh, you need to protect me. Do we even have respect for our feces? It tells us things. Do we even have respect for our feces? Based on how the food comes out your body, it tells you certain things. It tells you what's going on inside your body.
I tell people, I study mine. I study my urine. I study my feces because it can tell whether I'm sick or not. You know, if things work,
Exactly.
yeah, you know. And I laugh. What got the man? All you do stand back and look at your shit. It'll tell you something.
There's a lesson in every single thing, King.
That's
There's
right.
a lesson
The
in
whole
every single
body,
thing.
your whole body is a university. You
But
can
we
learn,
don't study it.
but we don't study. You know what? And I think I'm gonna start putting more time in studying it because it's more, even with the nervous system and the various cells and how they process. You know, just not just the bowel, because the intestinal walls, everything has a purpose. I think we need to look at that more holistically than just say what it's there. No, it's there for a reason. That's
You
one thing
know,
I like about the book. Yeah, yeah, just to know to. She can have it, but I also need to play back. Okay. Okay. Pardon me there, King. I was past. I'm gonna make a call here. I got a reading to do. Uh, but I will. Anyway, we're saying what that's all. I'm gonna turn the thought.
see, that's what a powerful queen does.
Anyway, shut.
Yeah, yeah, buddy. You heard that voice, and you're like, yo, wait, what, whoa, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I don't know my whole train of thought.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, Shay just hit me up. They just got through the little group meeting they had today.
Okay.
Yeah.
No issues. I mean, because it's coming. Like I said, I'm gonna start making a lot of changes.
Okay.
We're gonna do a lot more like interviews. You
Okay.
know, I'm gonna go to a level of interviews and so on and so forth. So we'll see. We'll see where the universe guides me.
All right.
But I love it, man. I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
The way we came together, and I'm enjoying our fellowship. You know, we're learning from each other. I'm learning how to work with our young people the more, especially you millennials, because you all see things in a whole nother light. You know, and that makes the old man look at things more than through one lens. I have a multiple lens to look at. You know, I enjoyed Kamar Brooks. I mean, not Brooks, yeah, Brooks. And Balaji, man, I'm telling you, after that thing we had with Abraham, you know, I've got a new vibe on different people I'm talking to, along with yourself. Different ones coming on your show. I'm loving the fellowship, you know, and I appreciate
Yeah.
y'all giving me the respect that you do because I'm there to learn. Because I tell people, only way if you know of things, put that out there and test it and see if it hold up. Can it stand the test that people put before it? Okay, well, you say this is so. How do I know it's so? Put it to the test, you know. And Rich, I really admire him because he's talking from experience how he overcame his suicides and all these things. And how many folks have gone through some that didn't make it? They had nobody to turn to that could give some kind of guidance, even give point in a direction where they might try to find some help, you know. And honestly, I am working on my thing there is trying to get my diet and my discipline under order. Because we can't teach an old dog new tricks. Hell, you can, but if old dog feel out that the old way you've been going is creating more problems, it's time to change it.
Um, I mean, at the end of the day, it's what we're willing to change and how fast we want to change it. Like I said, if we want to change
Uh,
something like this, we can change it with just a thought, because we do create our own realities, and we just got to look at it as such.
wow.
And that's why the greatest manifestation happens in silence. Sometimes we show our hands because we need approval from other people.
Right,
But
yeah,
those some
right,
those
right, yeah,
those some the same people that we need approval from don't even have approval for their damn self.
that's right.
So what are they gonna give you? Like Kimar said, what his granddad said to him. He needed approval for him because he felt, he admired that king. You know what I'm saying? But he came to me and he got approval from a stranger. You see what I'm saying? Because I walk like this, man. Like I don't go around holding grudges or tell people what they can't become. You can do anything you desire at any point, whenever you desire it, because you're manifesting that, and the greatest manifestation comes in silence.
That's it. That's it.
Period.
That's it.
You know, and for those of you out there, there's some beautiful things to come. You will see it within my actions because I'm quailing the talking. You got to show them nowadays. So there's a lot to be unveiled, and within time, the universe will grant you that stage.
Ashe, brother.
You
Ashe.
know, and just watch it flow. I
Mm.
admire my elders. I admire every single one, even the naysayers, even the one that doesn't,
They
even
got
the
their,
ones that,
they got their,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, even the ones that doesn't bring forth anything. I admire y'all because we need y'all, right, in order to see who we are. You know, I admire the realists, but I'm not a fan of the realists because if it was up to the realists, we wouldn't have some of these magnificent inventions that we have.
True that.
But positive energy, prosperity to everyone, and
Mm.
that's genuine. That's genuine from my heart.
Wow.
And with that being said, if you would like to be a part of the show, please send me a friend request at Uremia on Facebook. Don't
Mm.
forget the King. Um, on IG at MEN-talRollaDeK. Please follow. On Twitter, please follow. On
Right.
YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. On Twitch, please follow your boy. Love is love. And
Always.
please understand that your eyes only see as far as your feet takes you.
Mm.
One.